legal trailblazers, and welcome to the 12th episode of The Global Lawyer. With this episode, we are celebrating 1 full year of monthly conversations with professionals whose career journeys are nothing short of inspiring. What started as an initiative by the São Paulo Lawyers Institute in the spirit of its 150th anniversary last year has really gone beyond borders, helping us build meaningful connections across the global legal community. And today, we have an exceptionally inspiring guest, Ilene Najjarian, our Ilene. She is a preeminent legal scholar and practitioner from Brazil with a career path that, quite frankly, breaks the mold. She started out in accounting in the 80s, which is fascinating in itself, but then she pivoted, threw herself into law, and didn't just dip her toe in the water of finance and capital markets. No, she dove headfirst, mastering concepts that can make even seasoned lawyers scratch their heads. She's made a real name for herself, holding high-profile positions with Brazilian regulatory authorities like the CVM, the Brazilian Securities Exchange Commission, and serving as a counsel adjudicator at the Brazilian Financial System Appeals Council, adjudicating landmark cases at the appellate level, like the Bitcoin Pharaoh and the Fat Cattle or Boi Gordo. And oh, by the way, she's just been reappointed as a counsel just a few days ago. She has been reappointed as a counsel adjudicator at the Financial System Appeals Council. So the national financial system is fortunate enough to continue benefiting from her valuable contribution, expertise, and deep sense of justice. And she's even spent time at the SEC in Washington, getting a close-up look at a mature financial economy. Ilene is one of these rare individuals who seem to be everywhere, always on top of things, and her passion is truly contagious. We met at the Institute and got to know each other better through the Banking Law Committee. And I've got to say, she's one of the women I admire the most. She's always full of energy, super curious, and totally committed to learning and growing every step of the way. Ilene, my dear friend, thank you so much for joining us. It's a real privilege to have you here today.
Oh, Marina, thank you very much. The privilege is mine. It's an honor to me to be here. And I'd like to give you my congratulations from my heart because you are so gorgeous, so generous, and your global lawyer is a success. I love it. I don't miss it. Since Bruno Salama, then Nikki, Nicole, the last, and you
Yes.
are so brilliant, so gorgeous.
Oh,
And
Tom's
it's
very
an honor
generous.
to me. It's a pleasure, really, it's a pleasure. First of all, I must do a disclaimer
Yes.
because
Yes, I know that.
yeah,
Okay,
I work
please go
at the
ahead.
Brazilian Securities and Exchange Commission, and we have that compliance. We must do a kind of disclaimer. My presentation is provided by my own responsibility, okay? And my capacity in my research, and does not necessarily reflect the views of the Securities and Exchange Commission in Brazil, CVM, or our Council of Financial System, or Conselhinho, like we used to say in Brazil, or
Mhm.
the prosecutors of the CVM from advocacy of our country, our Brazil. So it's my own opinion because I'm also a teacher, a professor now in Ph.D. in some courses like Fundação Getúlio Vargas. And I would like
Yeah.
to share and to debate with you, Marina, and with all of our audience about some tools of our capital markets here in Brazil. It's a
Yes, we have
pleasure.
so much to cover. And I would like to start with a note on accounting, because I would say from ledgers to ledgers. So when you began your career as a trainee in accounting technical college back then in 1980s, in the 1980s, the financial market was the financial world in itself looked very, very different from what we have today. Looking back, how do you compare the market you encountered back then to the globalized digital and tokenized markets of today? And here I'm playing with words intentionally, because you started in the world of accounting, but then you ended up building a remarkable career centered around accountability. So these are quite different worlds and also different words. So accounting, contabilidade, and accountability, responsabilidade. Yet somehow your journey brings them together beautifully. Tell us about that.
It's not an easy job, Marina. It's a very hard job because when I began in 1986 in São Paulo at Olavo Bilac School, Olavo Bilac, and I studied the fundamental contability. Nowadays, our contability is very different because our market is very different. Now we have high frequency traders, the velocity, people are always in a hurry. We are always in a hurry. We are always looking for what I'm going to do next, how to get my money back when you lose, how to get more money with my investments. So when I started in 1986, we used to watch things, to read papers, to read analysis. Now we have artificial intelligence doing some analysis, doing some research for capital markets in a completely different way. Securities means everything, like Section 2 from Securities Act from 1933, means everything in United States. Also defining tokens nowadays, crypto securities, crypto assets. Nowadays, in Brazil, we used to do the highway test. It's a test that began in United States, 1946, 1942, and in some instrumentalities, some requirements, they define it, the Court of Appeal defined it in United States, in Florida. Highway was the name of the plaintiff. And Mr. Howie said to the court, I'm a citrus businessman, I have a land, and this is not a security, this is only a contract. But that conception depends in some particular circumstances. First of all, we must have a public offer. In 1980s, public offer was completely different, Marina. In the 80s, well, first of all, our country, Brazil, was the last in the world to have a Securities and Exchange Commission.
Oh, I didn't know that.
First had Venezuela and Colombia. Then in Brazil, we only had a Securities and Exchange Commission in 1976.
Yeah.
With the law 6385 from 1976.
Yeah.
So we are
it's
so
recent.
young.
Yeah,
it's recent.
Quite young. Yeah.
So when I started to study accounting, it was completely new in 1986, only 10 years.
Yeah.
And I was very curious. I'm always asking and trying to get some information in the newspapers. Google came to Brazil in 2004.
Yes, yes.
2004, we had Gmail, email
Yeah.
uh, for common people, I mean, for
Yeah,
ordinary
yeah.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that time, the research was very difficult. Even to see numbers, even to see accounting papers, it was not easy. Nowadays, it's easier. You have all the information. The site of Brazilian Securities and Exchange Commission is very good. You can find everything about the issue, about the company there. But at that time, no. That time was
Everything was
hard,
paper based. You had to.
paper-based. Yes.
Yes, we have
Even the securities, Marina, even the
even.
securities was cartula, paper.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's not materialized anymore. Nowadays, we see a market completely dismaterialized,
Mm-hmm.
unmaterialized. And I remember that time that people, the legal issues, even the legal issues, legal problems, they watch to the accountants and to accountability also, like, oh, it's another science, is another field. Nowadays, we have to look after accountability. We have to look to have a serious look to the accounting in the issue, in the companies, in the funds,
It has
market funds.
expanded its scope.
Yes, so much, so
Yeah.
much. And with the velocity.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is tokenized
Yes.
material. So it's another word, it's a brand new word for us.
Yes.
I like it. I like it. But sometimes I get some scared. But
Yeah, yeah. I believe so. And it's fascinating how your personal journey mirrors the market's own evolution, moving from what we've just said, the paper-driven and localized system, and to this dynamic, interconnected digital arena. What a shift. It's been a massive leap. And Brazil has seen a remarkable evolution in its financial regulatory architecture from the central bank to the CVM, the Brazilian Securities and Exchange Commission, to the National Financial System Appeals Council, the Conselhinho, where to which you've just been reappointed. And in your view, what were the key turning points in this transformation? And how did these institutions shape one another's roles in regulating an increasingly complex market? Because you just mentioned everything is now has gone digital, but the institutions themselves, they have changed. So, and if you could just tell us briefly where exactly you are in the Brazilian financial system structure. This is interesting for our viewers.
yes, Marina, it was around 1998, 1999. Do you remember the bug of millennium bug?
Yes, the turn,
Yes,
everything
will
would
blow up.
explode, blow up. Yeah.
Yeah, you are going to lose all your database, you're going to lose everything, and nothing happened. But we were so scared that we catch up. We catch up all the data, we catch up everything, and we tried to organize things better in our data centers, in our data centers. That was very good. And in my opinion, my single opinion, at that time, that the key was turning on, because we turning on a new reality that we cannot go back. There is no coming back for us. We are not going to live 80s or 90s, again, I mean, the paper basis, even if we had some kind of blackout,
I
because,
see.
because we are so used, we are so comfortable with this material world that we can imagine how to deal, how to manage our business, how to manage our accounting, our investments without technology.
Yes.
So, in my opinion, from 1999, from 2000, 1999, I was so worried to keep things going on, afraid with that bug, millennium bug.
Yeah.
You remember, nothing happens, nothing.
Yes, everything went smoothly and yeah.
And the show go on. But that scare, that fear made us to make a good job in talking about focus on data centers. Even at Securities and Exchange Commission, even at our council, because our council, our Financial System Council, was created in 1985.
So
We now,
the institute, I'm sorry, and just to point out the date. So we had the CVM, the Brazilian Security in
1976,
1976, together with the corporations law, and then in the 80s we had the
the
creation of the
Financial System
appeals
Council.
council,
Yes,
financial appeals council.
yes, yes. So we are now celebrating this year 40 years of our council, that
Yes,
we
yes,
call in Brazil Conselhinho,
yes.
because uh, in that time, the Conselhão, the Monetary Council, Conselho Monetário
Monet,
Nacional
yes.
in Brazil, used to judge also the appeals from CVM, from Central Bank. And they said, oh, we are not going to do anything. We cannot do everything in the financial system. We must create another council with less responsibilities, smaller. That's why
Smaller.
Conselhinho is smaller, just to see, to adjudicate, to judge that appeals from CVM, Securities and Exchange Commission, central banks, SUSEP, the insurance regulator in Brazil, just things around money laundering, and COAFI, our unit of intelligence in money laundering in Brazil.
Right.
That's the principle, the mailing regulators that submit the appeals to council. But in that time, even the central bank was so young, because Brazil also, it was the last country in the world to have a central bank. First, Venezuela and Colombia, then Brazil. Brazil had a central bank, Marina, only in 1945, with the law 4565 from 1964, but we didn't have some kind of material stuff to create that regulator. So he was de fact created and start to do their job only in 1965. See, it's we
So
are celebrating this year 60 years from central bank.
wow,
60
this
years
is
is a
nothing.
very young,
This is
it's a
nothing.
very young regulator. In the past, we used to have SUMOC, Superintendência da Moeda e do Crédito, credit and
And
money
currency.
currency. But it doesn't work out because all over the world, they used to have their own Securities and Exchange Commission, their own central bank, and Brazil, nothing. So I see that we are also a very young country. we were discovering in 1500. It's a very
Yeah.
young country.
Yes, yes.
Yes, and we are also a young financial system. So things now is easier for us, is easier in my opinion, to get that way of technology, our new capitalism, electronic capitalism.
This is
It's
so
easier
interesting.
because we don't have that liturgy, that ritual. Oh, I'm going to do only with the paper, with the sign in the paper. No, we are used to electronical signs, electronical securities, digital securities, and now crypto securities.
Yes, yes. So it's interesting how that layered interaction between institutions, this really shows how regulation is also a living ecosystem because they have to talk to one another. Each body responding, adapting, and shaping the others. That's remarkable. And you've served as both, as both an enforcer and as an adjudicator. So in high stakes financial cases. What can you tell our viewers what are the main differences, both procedural and practical, between administrative and judicial proceedings in the context of the Brazilian financial and capital markets?
Yes, that's a great question, Marina. It's a very interesting question because in Brazil, we don't have subpoena power. We don't have a
What's that?
specialized judge. Subpoena power is when you ask for the judge, please, now it's with you, with the court. I'm not doing an administrative process because Securities and Exchange Commission in United States, ICC, and even Commodities Futures and Trading Commission, because in United States you have both. You have one regulator for derivatives, ETS, crypto derivatives, and one regulator for capital markets, really capital markets from companies and funds. Here in Brazil, we have only one, CVM. And here we have prosecutor in administrative courts like CVM, we have a prosecutor in judicial civil courts, and we have prosecutors in the criminal courts. And which one they goes in parallel, they goes parallel. In United States, Securities and Exchange Commission, say, look, please, plaintiff or investor, you are doing something wrong or something not in compliance. Please comply or explain. If the person says to you, says to to Securities and Exchange Commission, no, I'm not doing anything and I'm not going to explain. The Securities and Exchange Commission say, judge, please, court, please give him a subpoena. And then from this point to one, there is no more administrative process. There is only a judicial process. So we have administrative process only when people who are investigate say, I'm going to collaborate. Yes, I'm not complying, and I'm going to explain everything to you.
Okay. All right.
Here in Brazil, Marina, is another word, because here in Brazil, we don't have subpoena power. We don't have even a specialized courts. We don't have an specialization.
Yes, for this subject matter and this
Yes, we don't have for capital markets, for securities markets. We don't have it.
it's a huge challenge
Huge.
for the judiciary. Yeah.
It's a huge challenge. It's not easy for them. And they always ask to CVM, please collaborate with me, help me, be my witness, even witnesses,
Yes, expert witnesses.
technical employees from CVM. They used to collaborate with our courts, with our judges as a witnesses. In United States, no, because you don't have it. If people deny, say, no, I'm not doing nothing, judge, please give him a subpoena. And from this moment to one, you have the field and doing proofs, sometimes going to the people's house, to the people's some material fact to have some kind of proof. And in Brazil, we don't have it. We have administrative process, and at Conselhinho, at our financial system council, we judge on second instance when CVM or central bank doing some penalty, really applied some penalties. Because if they are, okay, there is nothing, we are going to stop the investigation, there is nothing to investigate. When it happens, the process finish. And when they finish, you cannot do anything to reopen. Because to reopen again, you must have another charge, another object of investigation.
Right. And tell us about the fat cattle or boi gordo case and the infamous Bitcoin pharaoh, because we're talking about your work at the council. What lessons should regulators and investors, for that matter, draw from these episodes? Because how do these cases reflect the challenges of oversight in an era of digital assets and also speculative bubbles, which we cannot avoid? What are the lessons? What do you have to say about that? Should regulators and investors do something, or what should they? Of course, they have to do something, but how should they proceed? How should they behave?
Yes, Marina, it was a Ponzi scam. It was a Ponzi scam. And yeah, the both cases, okay, both of
Yeah,
them.
so
In
the
my
both.
opinion, my
You
single opinion.
consider also the fat
Yeah.
cattle? Also,
Yes.
yeah,
And
okay.
the pharaoh of
And the pharaoh,
Bitcoin here in
yeah.
Brazil. Yes, both of them. Because they started with a public offer, a kind of contract, a term of contract. And I was telling you about the highway test.
Yes.
And I didn't finish it. Let me
Yes.
finish now. Yeah.
Yes,
You
thank you.
have
I would, yes, the highway test, the test that intended to define whether a specific transaction or a contract is or is not security.
a security.
Yeah.
Yes,
Go ahead.
exactly, Marina. So
Please.
you have some stuff, some kind of material facts that you have to look around in the contract and in the offer, in the public offer. When that contract is publicized in at internet or a television, in the television, or a radio, even in the radio. Oh, look, please buy that contract. It's a very good contract. You are going to earn some profits and 7 points, 10 points of our taxa Selic or IPCA. Yes. People go around, people are looking around. Oh, that's good investment. I can have some money with this. So that the first point that you have to look around. Yeah. The first of all, public offer.
Offer.
And when the offer is public, how the offer is publicized. When you put it in the internet, radio, television, prospects, shopping centers, like Boi Gordo, fat cow in the
fat
shopping
cattle.
centers. Yes,
Yes.
it was made in shopping centers
Yes, I
here in
remember.
Brazil.
Yeah, I remember.
And the second point, you have some kind of effort to do things, work it out.
So
You know what
efforts
I
to
mean?
make it profitable, efforts to
Yes,
develop the business or
to make money.
to make money, right?
Yes, yes. But that effort, Marina, can be yours. I mean, from the company effort, the company it is doing the offer.
Yes, the company offering the
Or,
contract.
yes, or another part.
So any
Or,
third party except the investor himself or herself.
yes, except the investor.
Okay.
The third point, you have to mention some kind of earnings, some kind of profits, you have to promise, or you are going to earn, like I said, Selic. You remember LIBOR before the Brexit?
Yes.
Yes, even the LIBOR, even the
Wow.
LIBOR they used to put it
Yeah.
on, Marina, in the fat cow, boi gordo. Look, that tree, and there is another one that is, how can I say in English? Do you know what I mean? When you are placing your capital, people capital, with a formalized contract, you need to have some formalized contract, like formalized contract sales. When you
The
disclose it to the investor, a prospect,
a prospect. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
a
Yes.
prospect. When you have a prospect, in case, talking about crypto, prospect means white paper. We used to call them white paper in crypto assets. So that kind of investment contracts, simply because their arrangements may have the appearances of this transaction, they can be a security.
Okay.
And the CVM and even the Securities and Exchange Commission, they used to combine to define, oh, it is a security or not, because some kind of interests or instruments cannot be, like a Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not a security. It's a kind of crypto asset that serves people like money. You pay your bills, you buy your things, but Bitcoin doesn't make any kind of promise to you. Bitcoin doesn't say, oh, you are
Yeah.
going to earn profits, you are going to earn interests. No,
No, it's a coin. It's
it's a
currency.
coin.
Yeah.
You earn it with this, sometimes when
Mm,
the valorization, the
with the spread. Yeah,
valuation,
not the spread.
the
The changing
valuation.
value. Yeah, when
Ah,
it's
but not with some kind of promises. So I used to talk to the people, to my students, look around, pay attention. If they promise the sky, the moon to you,
yeah.
you are going to be rich. Please run away now. You must to buy it now. And they try to do people to make things faster,
Yeah, they try to
and
persuade
faster.
them.
Yes, they used to demand some kind of hurry. If you
And
don't get now, you are going to lose. You must get now. That kind of signs shows to me always there is a Ponzi scheme. It's a scheme.
yeah.
And it happens. But boi gordo, fat cow in Brazil, it was with our law 6385 from 1976, our law in Brazil, like in United States Securities Act of 1933.
1933.
Yes, our securities law from 1976 they actualize. Now it's different.
Update.
At that time, our law was not prepared to deal with that kind of contract, because people used to say, no, that's rural, it's just for people who are doing some kind of agribusiness. It's from agribusiness, not for financial business.
Yes,
And
it's
they
the
were completely wrong.
yes, the law always comes after the fact. So yes, always the law is all there's always a delay.
Yes.
It's been like
But that delay is because also the technology of the people who are not used to do some things in compliance, not
yeah,
criminal people, okay,
yes,
but
yes, 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 yes.
people who
But
used to no, let's
innovate,
do a job,
just to
innovated,
innovate.
who likes to innovate. They used to have more tools than the
Yes,
regulator,
yeah.
better computers, better technology, better internet. 4G, 5G is different than the regulator. So they get faster to the
Mm-hmm.
people
To the
to
yes.
catch the money from
Mm-hmm.
people, from
Yeah,
ordinary people.
yeah. Yeah, and also with technology, we have these new concepts like just like blockchain, tokenization, and distributed ledger technology. These are reshaping how we think about ownership and investment. Ownership, propriedade, and
Yes,
investment as
yes.
investment. For those unfamiliar with these tools, could you explain how tokenization is? You already mentioned something, but how tokenization is becoming, in a way, the new cartula, the new negotiable instrument. Tell us about that, please.
Yes. Look, Marina, when we used to rent a movie, like a blockbuster,
Yeah.
we used to go to home with that kind of fita, that kind of
Yeah, the
video
tape,
cassette,
the
the
tape,
video,
yeah,
the tape,
the tape.
the tape. Nowadays, we have streaming.
Yeah,
We have the streaming, we go to a
we just
platform, uh,
click and
click
have it.
like Netflix and everything else. Uh, you see, that's what happens with the investments. It's the same
Mm,
thing.
mm.
We used to care our investments, and we have two kinds of tokenization nowadays. We have the on-chain tokenization and the off-chain tokenization. The
Hmm.
on-chain tokenization, the asset is created in a ledger, in a
In the ledger, in
distributed
the
ledger
record.
technology. Yeah, the record.
Yes, the record.
Off-chain, people already have that asset, that investment, it's the cartula in the paper,
Mm-hmm.
material investment, like a debenture, like a bond,
A
like a
bond.
note. You already have, but you digitalize it,
Mm.
you go to register,
Mm-hmm.
and you put it on in the ledger with a hash markable.
Okay, the
And
hash.
that hash are going to into a block, and that
Okay.
block will create a chain to get another block. That's why
Yes,
the
they are
name
into.
blockchain.
Yes,
Yes.
right.
But we have some ledgers that they are not the blockchain. We have another kind of technologies that people say, oh, everything is a blockchain. No, no.
Mm.
Every distributed ledger technology, every
Mm.
DLT is only a DLT,
Not necessarily
but not necessarily a
in
blockchain.
a blockchain.
But
Mm.
every blockchain is a DLT. Every
I
blockchain.
see. Okay.
Every blockchain is a distributed ledger technology. And that's the point where accounting meets the law, in my
Okay.
opinion. That's the
Okay.
point nowadays in 21st century, because you have the hash is a proof, is the material facts that you really have that kind of asset
Mm-hmm.
in the internet. It doesn't matter with normal web, dark web, deep web, it doesn't matter. You
Okay.
can have the ledger, all the webs,
Yes, at all levels.
all the levels.
Yeah.
Of course, from banks of traditional financial system, they
Mm-hmm.
used to put it on everything in normal web. But not traditional financial system like payment institutions, like some kind of crypto virtual asset service providers, the VESPs or the crypto asset service providers. Sometimes they doing that crypto, that assets, that virtual assets with airdrops or token, but not a token, a real token. I mean, not a pen drive, just from airdrop or a link or a QR code. You have or investment in your wallet. And you have some kinds of wallet. You have hot wallet, warm wallet, cold wallet. That kinds of wallets, they are different because you may have the both pins, public pin and private pin, or you say, no, I don't need the public, only the private. And the
Mm-hmm.
public code or the public pin used to stay with your asset, with your virtual asset service provider. Um, in Brazil, we call corretora, in United States, the broker
The
dealers,
broker. Mm-hmm.
the brokers, but not security brokers, but crypto
Crypto
brokers,
brokers.
virtual asset service providers.
Correct.
And it's not easy for sometimes to investigate, to prosecute, because you need some kind of engineering programs. You must code some kind to follow the money. You must do some kind of code because coders are coding every day. People are coding. And now with AI, with artificial intelligence,
Yes,
it's
that's one
easier to
point.
code. It's easier to code. I used to study Python, Marina. I
I
started to
remember.
study
This is unbelievable.
Java.
Yes,
Python.
it's unbelievable. You are so.
Oh,
Oh,
let me tell you, okay, audience and everybody. I started to study COBOL. Do you remember COBOL?
yes.
As a
But I
program
don't even
language from
for.
dinosaurs, the dinosaurs, dinosaurs.
Yes,
Oh my
yes, yes.
God.
Ah,
But it permits the the purpose of investigating, because now we must investigate in the internet. The criminals doesn't attack people anymore.
no, they
They
attack the
are
systems
they attack the
or
system,
yes,
the protocol,
the
the
the protocol.
internet protocol, the IP,
Mm-hmm.
and they have everything from your life.
Oh my,
They can
it's
hack your money, they can hack your crypto, they can hack everything. And hackers are nowadays, they are our most problem, our great problem, our
yes, because
fear.
mhm. Because as we said, the ownership and the investments, they are not uh, they are not material anymore. So
Yes,
they are inserted in a system, and that's where we become fragile, where we become the targets for the hackers. That's
yes,
quite
yes.
frightening.
It's a very stranger thing. It's a very stranger thing. You
Yes,
know what I mean?
yes.
Because you are here, you are safe in your home.
Mhm.
But if your computer is doing something, you are You can imagine that people are at that time, at this moment, hacking your money, your investments.
Yeah, this is
We must, in
quite.
Brazil, invest in cybersecurity. We must invest in insurance for cybersecurity, for problem with that kind of hacking. And
Yes.
crypto assets now they are the new billionaires, the new billionaires, people who deals with crypto, the virtual asset service providers. There are some of them. They are biggest than the banks.
Yes.
Talking about money, capital rise there. Then the financial system, traditional financial system. You see ETF, exchange traded fund, in crypto. Is the biggest investment here in Brazil. Last year was the greatest investment in Brazil. Uh, ETF with crypto ETFs, like Hash 11, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, just to
Yes.
give an example. But
Yes,
I
yes.
could have more. I have more examples. Nasdaq Crypto Index, like S&P, but S&P is traditional ETF, S&P 500. It's a
Mm-hmm.
traditional one. People are used to it. But
Yes.
crypto asset, not
Mm,
everyone is
Is
used to
fam-
deal, to buy, to sell, you know?
Yes, and that's a great segue to what I'm going to ask you now, because as new technologies challenge old frameworks, the old frameworks we were used to, many investors and even regulators feel apprehensive. So, do you think fear of misunderstanding continues to hinder the adoption of safe and innovative financial tools? What I mean is, what principles should guide responsible investment and regulation in these spaces?
Great question, Marina. I could say with three little words,
Okay.
you know, environment, social, and governance,
Okay.
because we need to have a governance very strong,
Mm-hmm.
with cybersecurity rules, with rules to crypto in Brazil. We have a rule nowadays, 14478,
Mm.
but 14478 is not enough. We need more regulation. And we must be worried with environment, our energy. We cannot use our energy like we are using today.
Yes, tell us about the dangers because I know, okay, we all know that mining cryptocurrency and the mining activity, it's a huge use of energy, and also the AI. When you ask, like, the other day I was speaking with a friend of mine, and she asked, "Oh, do you say hello and goodbye and thank you to the AI?" And I said, "Oh yes, I'm very polite." And she said, "No, no, no, don't do that. Don't do that because you are requiring so much energy from the intelligence, because to answer your question, to answer back, oh, you're welcome, or anything like that, it takes a huge amount of energy for the AI to process, to answer your question. So I think that we should have a responsible use of the AI, because it's like everything that is new, everyone is using it to for the most useless things that we can imagine. Young people are creating toys and dolls and images. And how much energy does it take for the platform to produce all of that? So what do you have to say? Because you are an authority on that, and I didn't know that I shouldn't be polite. So I said, okay, I'm not going to talk to the AI anymore. Just going to straight to my question.
Yeah, it's true, Marina. It's true. Is capable of adaptation. We are capable to make some kind of adaptation. Like you said, I'm not going to say thank you or welcome anymore to an I, because we are always thinking about just I'm using, that's okay, it's only 10 minutes, 2 minutes, but 10 minutes is a lot of time for us to catch the energy to use in an eye. And for mining crypto, it's a lot of energy. Solar energy is not enough, never. um,
Not now, at
Iolic,
least.
not now, not now. Iolic is not ready to supply our demand, our use. Like you said, it's new. When things is brand new, people are looking for, oh,
Everyone
I
goes
must have it.
crazy.
Yeah, people go crazy. No, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, they can do my homework, they can do my job, they can be my lawyer, they can be my trainee, everything. No, this is not good, because we are not thinking about in our resource, in our energy, and the risk of blackout, of apagão, like we say in Brazil. We saw a blackout in Portugal few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm,
It was
mm-hmm,
very in Spain also in Spain, two great countries,
mm-hmm.
European countries. And my God, if that kind of thing happens there, can you
There.
imagine
Can you imagine
here?
what
Eh,
we're
in
going to
São
be?
Paulo, in
It,
São
it-
Paulo,
it's
São Paulo
unimaginable.
breathes
Yes,
technology.
yes.
Yes, I used to work with 3 computers here, 2 cell phones, and I
We
have
can't live
an
without it.
eye in all of them. I have an eye, and I have
Mm-hmm.
wallets, and it's very, very dangerous if each Brazilian do like me. I used to pray, please, God, help us to have a delay, a little more time, little bit time to get another kind of energy. Nuclear could be a great energy, nuclear,
Mm-hmm.
a
Yes,
clean nuclear energy, and energy from lithium, new kinds of batteries. And we must try everything to save our water, our energy, traditional energy.
I
It's
see.
very hard to say, but they are offering to people, ChatGPT and others, many others nowadays, without saying, look, you cannot use it all day long. You cannot use it to do your lunch, your dinner. Let me ask to ChatGPT how to do
What?
my dinner,
Yeah.
my spaghetti. Let do how to do a spaghetti. No, please don't do
You
that.
don't do that. You
Please,
shouldn't do that.
people, don't do this. Shouldn't do. We must not doing this, because we must thinking about that 30 parts and other people must need that energy, and it will not work out. It will not work out. I
Yes.
mean, hospitals and
Yes.
things that in a
And,
kind of situation with health problems, we need to save and
yes.
use it with responsibility.
The
Responsibility.
responsible use,
So the full
not
and fair disclosure, we are not going to save without doing some kind of people look around. Let's make a disclosure here. And
yes.
another kind of problems that we have, investor allocating their profits, talking with digital influeers.
Oh,
That's another problem. All day long in the internet, using energy, using artificial intelligence to say people, oh, that asset is good, that secured from, and that company is not good, without have a certification,
yes.
without to have a license from CVM, from central bank to do that kind of job.
Yeah.
People to talk with another people, to recommend, to deal with questions around profits, around earnings, around assets, to discriminating, to determining some kind of wallets, some kind of investment. They cannot do this without a license from Brazilian CVM in Brazil, from central bank. So people, when someone comes to you and say, oh, invest your money here, or please look this security, look this, that. First of all, ask them, are you only a digital influencer? Do you have a license of financial system? If you don't have a license, I'm not going to talk to you. And you must have a certification, because in Brazil we have ANBIMA. ANBIMA is an SRO, a self-regulator. It's a self-regulator. ANBIMA is a great self-regulator, and ANBIMA has many, many kinds of certifications from funds, from companies, people who can offer that kind of investment or enterprises to make sales contract, to make a contract. So don't buy, don't sell. If people who comes to you, please, audience, without a license from financial system.
Yes, because this is simply giving financial advice without a license. So without
Yes, Marina,
a
it's a
certificate.
danger. It's very dangerous. It's like a financial suicide, like I used to say. Yes, a financial suicide.
Yes, because the consequences and the what comes next, we don't want to see it.
Yes.
Or you don't want to see it.
Yes, exactly. We don't want to see it. Yeah, but it happens. And that kind of arrangements are all day long, all night long in the internet. If you look now, Marina, at the internet,
if you go
put
to
in the
YouTube
Google
now,
investments, put
yeah,
in the Google investments.
it's going to millions of options.
It's going to, yes,
just
it
click
appears
that,
a million, yes.
And you'll find a fantastic financial advisor.
Yes, and beautiful. They are beautiful.
Yeah.
Sometimes they are not real. Sometimes they are
artificial.
fake. They are
fake.
artificial.
So this
yes,
is
avatar.
this
yes.
is yes, they are. Oh, this is too much.
It's a challenge. It's a great challenge. And business is not for challenge. We have to put our money with safe, with security. I mean, not security.
The securities,
security
the bonds,
investment.
the safety.
Yes.
Yes, that's a call to action. Yes, this is or a call not to act.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Wow. We've covered a lot. So, wow. As good things don't last forever. I'm afraid we're preparing to wrap up. So everyone, thank you all for tuning in. And if you're wondering whether it's possible to mix law, finance, and a dash of bold brilliance, just look at Eileen's journey. It shows that there's no one size fits all in legal careers. right? And
You are so gorgeous, Marina. Thank you for
thank you.
having me.
Thank
Our
you.
audience, I'm at the LinkedIn, not
Hmm.
at the Instagram. My Instagram is,
Yeah.
is a little thing because it's only from my family. But at the
Sure.
LinkedIn, I'm always at the LinkedIn, and people who wants to discuss, to debate with me, it will be a pleasure. And Marina, it was an honor to me. Thank you for
I'm so
having
happy.
me. Thank you very much, Marina.
No, thank you. I thank you. I'm so happy, and we are good friends. It's a pleasure talking to you. Every time we talk, I learn so much. I'm so happy. It's a privilege for me. So, folks, for our viewers, so go on, find your own twist, break a few molds, and who knows? Maybe will be the one, the next one here, inspiring others on this podcast. And until then, stay curious, keep pushing boundaries, and remember, there's always a new path to explore. Thank you all for being with us. Thank you, Eileen, again, and see you on the next episode. Thank you all. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.